Welcome to the Weekly Skeem podcast. It's your host, Mansa Musa Jr., and I have my co-host.
Well, it's a Net Geo, but I want to change my name. I think a Net Geo is kind of whack.
You think a Net Geo's kind of whack?
Yeah.
Why?
It's my concealed identity, I guess you could say, name.
Net Geo, but I want to change my name. You gotta turn that down. We don't want that on
It's
there.
my fake name on Facebook, so people can't really find me.
But
because they look.
At the end of the day, y'all can follow us on the social media. Right here, we got
his social media.
You know what I'm saying? Mansa Musa Jr. and we got the Weekly Skeem podcast. You know? So, we have a great topic that we have sat and talked about and we dwelled on for a little bit. And it's called, suicide is at an all-time high. It's a suicide and mental health type episode that we're doing right now. Courtesy of her. So you can go into what you want to talk about.
Well, what had happened was I had posted an article about the FCC was voting to make 988 the new suicide hotline number. And when I had posted it, I wasn't expecting a lot of comments, but, people obviously come to the page and they vent and whatnot. And there was a particular comment that was made about people that commit suicide are weak.
Mm.
And I will say, I took offense to it. I did. Even though, obviously, I haven't committed suicide. But, I'm happy I didn't have somebody that was close to me commit suicide because I probably would have went all the way in.
Yeah.
Because it was just kind of, I took it as kind of like a harsh comment. Did you see it? How'd you take it?
Well, it was kind of iffy for me because I was like, because I've been on both ends of the spectrum, but I allowed you to deal with it in your way because sometimes you have to, if I don't feel the same way you feel at that time, it's not good for me to say anything. So you handled it the way you wanted to handle it. But to me, I think it's kind of bad taste. I personally wouldn't say it like that.
Well, I felt bad because there was a couple of people on your page that actually shared their stories about, having loved ones that, committed suicide and whatnot. And considering everything going in the world today, statistically, it's supposed to be, the rates are actually at an all-time high.
Yes.
And I think that it's something that needs to be openly discussed because, I don't know, I think like the stigma that surrounds it is wrong. I guess you could say, like, people think that, a lot of people, sometimes, if you just think about it, a lot of people have, like, this, not isolated, what's the word I'm looking for, but there's just, like, I don't know, what am I saying? Like, they just have, like, this, like, idea that, like, okay, people who commit suicide, like, have mental issues, or they're on drugs, or they just are, like, a menace to society, they don't have nothing to go into them. Well, that's, like, a lot of, like, narrow-minded, stereotypical thinking out there, I personally think. But, I could be wrong.
No, but the thing, what I have to say is that it's a lot of things that deal with mental health with people, and it goes down that path to where they end up committing suicide because they can't deal with it. Because I deal with a brother that has had a brain injury, has psychosis, so I know what a brain can do, what it can do, how it make you think certain things, and why they want to try to put people on a whole bunch of medicine. But I don't agree with the medicine. Now the thing with me personally, I know is that suicide is a real thing, and people look at me as strong, but I gotta tell you straight from the door, like I tried to commit suicide twice, with a firearm. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people gotta understand that if you looking at somebody and you just saying that they're weak.
Where the hell did you get a firearm?
What?
Where did you get a firearm?
What the heck? We on live? I ain't messing with you.
I didn't know that. I couldn't kill myself with a firearm. I wouldn't even know where to get one. Like, I could go to Home Depot and get some rope. Or, like, jump in my pool with some bricks. Wow, you really about that life.
No, but the firearm, it wasn't try. I tried to do it with a firearm twice. It was just a firearm one time, and then it was another time, but it was something else. But the
Third
point,
time's a charm.
hell
Shit.
no. But at the end of the day, I love muscle and like so. But I was, you're at a low point, and that's what people don't get, and people start to judge. That's why you got to shut your mouth and listen with your two ears on the side of your head, and you got to listen to people because you never understand. You got to show empathy. This is where empathy comes in, and people got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes because you never know.
Well, that's where I got really offended. First off, I don't know how to read the live comments, by the way. So this is where I got offended. And I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm not going to put my whole, I'm not going to get in my bag and put my whole entire life out there. But I'll be honest with you. And I'm sure a lot of us had a childhood where I don't know, and a lot of people have said to me they don't know how I was not a statistic before I even had kids and reached my adult life. I should have been somewhere with a needle in my arm. Probably should have committed suicide like 19 different times, considering everything that, a person goes through. They actually shouldn't have to go through it. So with that being said, I guess accomplishment, I defied the odds, whatnot. So when I read that comment, I got really offended because number one, we all sin differently, and I know in religion you think that killing yourself is a sin, but what got me is that I'll be honest with you, I don't have the balls to kill myself. I really, really don't. I don't. But there isn't times where I wish I got struck by lightning, or I got hit by a bus and somebody did it for me, because
not me.
one thing that's out there is depression is real. It's real, and it's crippling.
She said, "Damn, rope at Home Depot."
I'm telling you, because I couldn't get my hands on a firearm. I'd have to get some rope. I don't know. What else can you do? Take a whole bunch of Benadryl?
But you want to know what it is, though? But I could tell you a lot of things. And this is why I said before, and if you could look back at the different videos that and the episodes that I made, I was telling people that, like, fear and them putting us in quarantine and different things like that. There was people that went into that with mental health issues,
Exactly.
And you got to think that the community for the health community had to go rush towards COVID-19, right? So most of the people that you think were getting the care that they were supposed to get, they weren't. And I know it firsthand because I seen it with my brother.
Oh, please, you can't get help. That's another thing. You can't get help. That's the whole thing. That's why when I posted the whole thing about the new suicide number, it's crazy because they tell you that there are different things that they have implemented to help people who need assistance.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't find a psychiatrist in Jersey at all. You're on a waiting list. They're like, "Are you about to have a nervous breakdown?" "Yes." "Okay, well then go to the nearest hospital." "Okay, well no, I'm not." "Okay, well then you got to wait 3 months." I got to talk.
But you want to know something though? Somebody was on Facebook, said the same exact thing.
It's
in
terrible.
Jersey, they were like,
it's terrible.
Why can't I find a psychiatrist? This is crazy. I'm like, it's getting real bad out here. And you got to think about it. If they had mental health issues before quarantine and then they went into quarantine, they were messed up. Think about how they're coming back out. And then people that didn't have nothing or was dormant came back out and they're out there. So it's a whole bunch of people running around looking crazy, doing a whole bunch of stuff that's crazy. Because see, when people do stuff, because you got to look at it. I studied quarantine and what it does to people. You know what I'm saying? And you got to equate it somewhere down the line with prison. And when they put you in a hole, it makes your mind do certain things. So what about somebody that was something happened to them when they were a child, and then you put them in quarantine, and then they haven't sat with themselves in a while, and then all of a sudden that puts pressure on their mind. They start thinking about it, and then they don't want to be around no more because they can't deal with, the elephant in the room, I would call it.
Well, I would have to agree with you, but the reason that comment it got me really, really upset. And the reason it got me really, really upset was because it's really sad to think that people are so, they just completely ran out of hope. No, they're not oblivious. It's just, the people are oblivious, I think, but it's just sad because for somebody to be at a point where they can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, they can't, try to appreciate something small and see the silver lining in a situation, and that their back is up against the wall, that they have to resort to taking their own life is really, really sad. And the reason I was so upset by the comment and I kind of felt personally attacked is because I'm going to be honest with you, I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there many times. And I know a lot of people, I don't know where they get it from, but a lot of people will say, you know, that I look like I have a really tough exterior and I look like I really don't give a shit, and I could be like, oh, F you and deuces, and I can just walk away and I'm just like, everything's fine. But the truth is, and I hate to say this, I'm a pretty big pussy. I am. I am. You have to admit, I wear my heart on my sleeve. It's terrible. It's really, really bad.
King Blunt Roller 489 just said, I just lost someone to this recently.
Yeah. And so it's hard. And when he said that, it really upset me because, like I said, I've been there, and I know what it's like when you feel like, damn, man, you know, every time one door opens, 7 close on you. You try and you try and you grind and you grind, and no matter what you do, you just can't get a break. You can't breathe. It was to a point where I would go through my day and I wouldn't plan getting through the day. I would plan getting through the hour. And literally, if I got through the hour, it was like an accomplishment. And all that I looked forward to was nighttime, getting my son to bed by 7:30, and then telling everybody, you got to fend for yourself, and putting myself to sleep. And I guess in a way it looks like, you know, you wanted to commit suicide, but the problem was I just wanted to put myself to sleep, because it got to the point where I couldn't sleep anymore. I had to take medication to put myself to sleep because my brain would just not stop, where I was actually looking forward to the break, if you will, which was just to get my mind quiet and just to stop. Like, it was just so bad. Every single day I would wake up, I would work all day, I would stress all day about what I was going to cook for dinner, what was I going to do, how I was going to get through the day, and it would just be, okay, I got through 10 minutes, okay, I got through 20 minutes, okay, I got through an hour, and by the time 7:30 came around, I was dancing in the streets because I was just going to go cuddle in bed, drink my medication, you know, swallow the pills, and then go to sleep just to shut my brain off. And it was bad. And it would.
There's a lot of people that are like that, though. That they can't turn their brain off, and it bothers them.
You can't stop. And like I said, you know, when they said that, you know, you have to be weak to kill yourself, you don't. You really don't. Because there's been so many things that I've battled and I've overcome in life that I'm shocked. Like I said, I didn't do it sooner, to be honest with you. But it just gets to a point where, man, life is hard. And like, you see people out here and they're buying these dream homes and they're driving these cars and they're just, everybody looks like they're having a great life and they're going on vacation, and it's just like, I don't know if I missed the memo somewhere, but life sucks ass.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I swear to God, like, all that, like, every single, like, all that I have to show for is that my electric's on. I got groceries, and don't get me wrong, I'm blessed. I'm very, very blessed. But it's just like, I feel bad because I've been there. And like I said, if I didn't have a family, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys right now, because it just seems like no matter what I do, it was just blow after blow. And then you finally do get a doctor that'll talk to you, and they put you on a handful of medication, and you go to, you keep the pharmacy stocked. And you should see how much your co-pays are. Medicine. You get this depression medication, and then you have this depression medication to parallel that one, because you have this one is for depression, and this one is for the feeling of the hopelessness depression, and then you have this one to you know, be able to encompass all of them together, because it'll help the other two work better. And after a while, you're just a walking pharmacy. And what they do is they dumb you down so much that you're basically just a zombie. So when you're like in this vegetative state where you just mussed up enough just to be able to go through your normal routine, which is pretty much like you're sleepwalking, because you're just, okay, I'm used to it. You're not even there, but you're still going through the motions. That's how I look at it. I say it's like you're sleepwalking, and you just like try to get through your day. And I just feel so bad, because my heart goes out to those people, because if I wasn't already kind of in quarantine before quarantine happened, I don't know how I would have handled it. Because I started working from home way before quarantine happened.
That's why
And
Juddy even said, she said, "Yeah, this quarantine has people thinking about a lot." Yeah, it does.
it's hard.
It stops you.
It's hard, and you got people out there that are losing their jobs. You got people out there that are losing their loved ones. They're losing their house. They're not. They don't know how they're gonna put food on their table. They don't know what they're gonna do. They don't. And I can see how somebody just can't take it. Like me personally, I always say I was born too late. This world's moving way too fast for me. All these electronics and this app and that app, and you can't even turn on the radio. I don't even know who the rappers are anymore. If you told me you paid me $1 million to name a new rapper and a song, I wouldn't be able to even. I wouldn't. I would lose $1 million. Like I come from a world where you knew who Biggie was on the radio, you knew who Pac was, you knew like all the R&B groups. You know what I mean? Now it's just too much of everything. It's flooded. It's just
yeah. It's overdrive. It's overdrive, and they putting so much on you that your brain starts to just push it to the side. Push it to the side. You know what I'm saying? And that's why that's why I told people you have to work on your brain, work on yourself. And a lot of people didn't, and they went back out there and they all messed up. And it's just, and I feel bad, but at the end of the day, I gotta protect me and my immediate family. And I, like most people, I'll try to, like a lot of people call me. There's people that were calling me from India, talking to me because they said that my motivation and inspiration was like
how
something.
the hell did you understand what the hell they were saying and calling you from India?
No, because he could talk English.
It reminds me of the Jay-Z song. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
So,
Sorry.
But it's a
You
lot
have
of
to have
people
outbursts. Feel
because
better
it's not like it's just like it's like when you're an advocate and you've been through stuff, you can just point people. That's why like I can't stand people that get on something and they act like they're the almighty for that. You know what I'm saying? No, if you're advocating, if you don't know something, don't be giving people bad information. Guide them to somebody that knows more than you, or a website or something. You gotta help them because you giving somebody some bad information, just that bad information, and then them going not thinking right, you can have them people kill themselves because you couldn't give them right information, or you had an ego problem and you was acting like you were the big and almighty. Like, come on, people do that a lot.
Like, I'm telling you, there was nothing I didn't do. I had journals upon journals of things that were wrong in my life, what I thought I could do to fix it, what would be the worst case scenario that I couldn't get through, and this is the absolute worst case scenario. Can you be able to, withstand this? If not, what my recourse was, I read books, I lit candles, I talked to God, I talked to friends, I talked to my cat, I did everything. But I'm going to be honest with you. Somebody told me, a wise man once said, that heaven and hell is a condition of life. And it's what you make of your life. You either make it like heaven or you make it like hell. And when you die, you don't go to a heaven or you don't go to a hell. Your energy just comes back into earth. And I'm going to be honest with you, for a while.
Earth or wherever. Like whatever. It
honestly,
just goes back to something.
For a while, and this is really, really sad to say. And I don't, I know, but it's like I feel so bad for people. That honestly was my saving grace.
What?
To think that if I did something to myself, that I wouldn't have to worry about going to hell and burning for eternity for it, that my energy would just disappear. And that was actually the way to...
Energy doesn't disappear.
Well, what I'm saying is that usually as a Christian, if you kill yourself, that's the ultimate sin. You're automatically going to go to hell. But the way that I was able to justify, because I was at a low point in my life.
But that's the same people that's out there touching little kids in church. Like, come on, you don't got to take no advice from them people.
Okay, well, the people that aren't touching little kids and follow the Bible, and in the Bible, this is what they say, that if you kill yourself, it's the ultimate sin, you're going to burn in hell. And my point was, for a while, that's scary. Okay, I don't want to do something to myself because I don't want to burn in hell for eternity. But literally, what you said resonated in my mind as justification. Like, if I'm going to do something, maybe I actually won't burn in hell and it would be okay. And I feel bad for these people because I know how it feels. I know how it feels. I've been there. I know what it's like to try to reach out to try to get some kind of therapist, and they ask you, are you having a crisis? Well, I need to talk to somebody as soon as I could. Well, then go to a hospital. Okay, well, can I talk to somebody? Well, you're on a waiting list for 3 months. Or shit, I've been on a waiting list since last October. I think it was even before then, because you don't have anybody to talk to, and you have your immediate family around you, but you want an unbiased opinion. And I feel bad because trust me, I'm not the one with all the answers. And I swear, I wish I was a quarter of the people that I think that I am. Like some tough, blah, 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 I can handle anything and I can just walk through, life gracefully. But I'll tell you what, man, it's not like that. And my heart goes out to people. And I really just wanted to say to anybody that is going through this or is feeling like this or whatever, like, you're not alone, man. You're not. Like, even like, you could say, well, what is she, what do they have to going on with them? Like, we were talking about that Will and Jada thing. Like, oh, wow. Sure. Real celebrities get touched too, in marital triangles and affairs and all that nonsense. But, like, technically on the books, I do got my shit together. I have a home, I have a good job, I have a car, my bills are paid. I take my kids to the shore and then complain about how much the tickets cost. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not out living the American dream going away on vacation every single year. But, on paper, I have a decent credit score. I look good on paper. But that doesn't mean that I don't feel like I'm like the bottom of the barrel. There's literally been days where I have literally thought, damn, man, if I could just go right up the street to Camden, and for all of you that don't know about Camden, New Jersey, you need to look it up, and literally just putting myself in the worst possible predicament just to get my brain to stop so I could just be numb. And if the good Lord wills it so, let me pass. And if not, let me just be numb and be able to shut my brain down and just stop. And I know how it feels. And the things that gets me is when people hear how I really feel about it, they're like, no, you? Really? You? And I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah. And when he said that about the people being weak, like, I almost wanted to get in his ass because, like, there's not that many people that are that strong. And just because somebody hasn't done something like that to themselves doesn't mean they haven't thought about it or they're not capable. Like, it's really, really hard. So instead of calling somebody weak or criticizing them or judging them or saying, oh, you should be able to do this or you should be able to do that, don't judge me until you've walked in my shoes. You don't know what I've struggled with. You don't know what I've overcome. You don't know the battles that I'm trying to fight now. You shouldn't criticize. Mm-hmm. And you shouldn't say something like that. Because you never know, the next person could be somebody in your family or on your friends list. And it just...
Oh, but you want to know something? That is key, too. There's a lot of people that are have depression or anxiety and suicidal thought. It's like from family. It's like...
It's genetic.
It's genetics been passed down. Because on my one side of the family, they're like that. They're just crazy. They're just alcoholics and do drugs, and then they just crazy. You know what I'm saying? On some other stuff. So... It's like you gotta watch what's in your family, who you mess with, have children with. Because when y'all mix and it be too bad, oh man, it'd be some terrible stuff.
I'll be honest with you. Number one, I feel bad for the world that my kids are gonna grow up